The joint chiropractic adjustment of the game. D'Eriq King hooking up with Charleston Rambo on the goal line. A tight needle to thread. What a catch by Charleston Rambo for the touchdown. Rambo, a cocoon of concentration. The joint chiropractic adjustment of the game. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Joe Zagacki with Don Bailey Jr. and podcaster and sideline reporter Josh Darrow. All right, fellas, let's talk about University of Miami. Central Connecticut State is coming up on Saturday at 12:30. Let's start with this topic. D'Eriq King may or may not be ready for this game, but boy, did he lay it on the line against Michigan State. So let's go there. His leadership has been invaluable.
Since the day he hit campus, I would say that he has taken over this football team. He is a guy that leads by example in the weight room, in the classroom, on the field, and he provides leadership for every single player here. What I witnessed after the game, and Josh was there as well, it was very, very difficult for him to even get out of his pads. And you know, you hear this forever in football. You're supposed to leave it all on the field. Well, he left every ounce of sweat, every bit of energy, and he put forth as big an effort as I've ever seen, and he paid for it physically. I mean, this young man was beat to a pulp, and he wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
You know what? All I could think in my head, and there wasn't the opportunity, was just to walk up to him and tell him how much respect I had for him, for what he did that game. What Don said. He gave everything he had, and he was beaten up, and it was more telling after the game how beaten up he was, and now we know exactly how much pain he was in. You wouldn't ask for anything more from anyone on your team playing football. What he and the position he plays, and he didn't stop. Meaning, even if he was banged up, if he had to take off, he still took off. When he launched himself on fourth down, he gave up his body. There were times he got hit in the pocket, and he stayed in the game. I'm hard-pressed to even remember off the top of my head a game where you just want to go, I have nothing but the utmost respect and admiration for what you just put on the field.
But he's done that every single game that he's been
He did
in.
Last year too.
You know, I mean, it's every contest.
He's coming off this knee surgery. Everybody was wondering about his durability, which you can't question now, considering what we saw last week. In addition to, he has run the most plays inside the ACC. He's the player that has run the most plays. Now, in this game, healthy or not healthy, D'Eriq King, either way, we would expect to see Van Dyke and Garcia because of the opponent. And so this is going to be a good opportunity, one way or the other, for these two young guys to play.
Well, we have to remember that players now still, you're allowed 4 games, and then you can play 4, and you can still be redshirted. So I'm with you. I think that you're going to see the future of the University of Miami this week. It gives them a great opportunity. You can burn that one game for a lot of guys, and this is the time to do it. And I think that those two quarterbacks, when you and I go back to training camp and we think about how they were at the scrimmages and how they performed, and I'm looking forward to it. And we're 8 to 10 games away, or whatever it is for D'Eriq King till the season's over. We've got to find a new quarterback, and this is a part of that process.
100%, and I think a couple of things. One, you got to like the way the room looks, right? You have D'Eriq King, and you have 2 guys behind him that you're invested in. So that's great, because I know his philosophy is take one every year. So they've got 2. The other thing is, this is a part of college football. This is the way it's set up. You have to have games like this to get those guys experience. But before the Alabama game for us, they were talking how last year with the COVID schedule, Bryce Young didn't get the reps that he normally would have gotten in an Alabama season. You want those guys to step onto the field. You want those guys to play. They have to get that out of their system. I think it's great.
Transfer portal has once again been good to the University of Miami. One of the best players for the Kings this year has been Charleston Rambo. The catch he made against Michigan State on the goal line was an incredible catch for a touchdown. He had 12 receptions. It was the most by an ACC receiver last week.
He had an outstanding ball game, Joe, and the thing about it is I like him after he catches the football. He's not a guy that looks to tip out of bounds. He looks for contact. He gets his head around on all the throws. And there's a touchdown play where he's waving in the back of the end zone, as we just saw, and he just planted himself there. That's experience. That's not a guy that drifted from his spot. That's not a guy that took his own route upon himself. He followed the scheme, he followed the play, and he doesn't have the dropsies.
He does not have the dropsies, which is, what is the primary responsibility of a wide receiver?
Catch the ball.
Thank you, catch the ball.
Catch the ball before you run with the ball.
You got it. So to Don's point, talk to Rob Likens, and what do you like about him? His experience. Mm-hmm. There's a calmness to him. There's a confidence to him. You can also tell there's a skill set to him. I can go back to the App State game, the toe tap on the sideline, on the play down the sideline, and then that play against Michigan State at the end zone was a play that the coaching staff's been yearning for. Mike Hartley made a catch like that too in the game. A play that you have to win. You have to win that rep. You're going to get hit hard, and that shows your toughness and your physicality. It was a big point of the game, and he's kind of developed. You talked in the last segment with Coach Diaz about developing relationships. Him and De'Eric seemed to be developing a nice little relationship, and he's someone. Look, at the end of the day, life, business, sports, trust. They trust each other.
We move on to the defense. There have been flashes of some good plays, but we all know there have been too many missed tackles and not enough takeaways. And something tells me that Manny Diaz is going to do everything he can to fix it, especially the tackling.
They're going to fix it. It will be fixed. It's something that I remember the first day when Coach Diaz got here as defensive coordinator. The first thing that he talked about was tackling. And then we went into Coach Banda's office, and he put on the clinic about it and where it came from, the Seattle Seahawks and the style that they use, the rugby tackle, however it is. And he is committed to it. It's been a part of his plan since the day he got here as a coordinator. So this is a great time this week when you're dealing with an opponent that allows you to go back to spring practice, to go back to the basics, to go back to the fundamentals, and you can hit this week. And you can find that physicality that Coach Diaz says this team has lost, but they will find. And I like the part that he's going to open up and put the most physical players on the field, not maybe the oldest, not maybe the most experienced, but the most physical players, because that is what football is. It is a physical sport.
And that's it. That's his identity. When he first got here, it wasn't always about the what, it was about the how to him. The effort and the tackling and the physicality. And obviously he's not going to sit there and look at that and go, this is what I expect. He's got a standard himself. And if that's at your core, we always talk about, what do you believe in? That's what he believes in. That's going to be the center of what he needs to coach up. And I'd agree with Don. Like, if that's an issue, it will be addressed, and he will put his priorities on it, not only as the head coach, but as a defensive coordinator.
Okay, Miami and Central Connecticut State, 12:30 at Hard Rock Stadium. An opportunity for the Hurricanes to correct a lot of mistakes. 12:30 at Hard Rock Stadium.
Sure are a lot of different drivers out there, and AutoNation is here for every one of them. The 10 and 2ers, the big fellas, nothing but the besters, even rock stars. But we do way more than sell new and pre-owned vehicles. We believe in something bigger, too. For every vehicle we sell or service, we donate to Drive Out Cancer. Over $28 million so far. What drives you, drives us. AutoNation.
Hello, I'm the Good Greek Spiro, and I have some very exciting news. Good Greek Moving and Storage is launching our Welcome Home program. Book your next move with Good Greek and you will receive our housewarming package, which includes gift cards valued at over $1,000, along with a neighborhood guide as you discover your new favorite local businesses. For the best move ever and to receive your exclusive gift offer, visit goodgreek.com and welcome home.
Greek Moving and Storage, your superhero movers.